This edition in the ritzy cruise guide series, we're in for an absolute treat. We're heading to one of the most cultural and fascinating port stops in Europe, the iconic Ephesus and the port of Kusadasi. Full of atmosphere and gorgeous coastlines, it's right at the top of most people's wish lists. We're going to show you how to explore, tour, and eat your way around the area, and see exactly why this is one of the top places in Europe to visit right now. Welcome back to the Ritzy Travel Guide. My name is Bill, and it's great to have you along with us. And in this edition of the Cruise Guide, we visit Ephesus and Kusadasi, one of the most interesting and cultural visits you can make in the Mediterranean. So let's see why it's got to these heady heights, and is the reputation deserved? As usual in our Cruise Guide series, we'll rate the port and attractions on a number of factors, such as how interesting it is, what sights you can expect to see, accessibility, and how far it is all from the port. We'll also cover a sample of excursions you can take to suit all interests. Right, let's get going, lots to cover and lots to see. Let's head out to the ship, and from there onto the sites. For this particular cruise, we were on the Celebrity Infinity, which is based out of Greece for part of the year. If you're interested in seeing more of this ship, we have recently uploaded a full review, and you can watch it after this, and I'll give you the links a little later in the video. So let's head to deckside, and we pick up the action at 7 o'clock in the morning. And good morning! Bright blue, crisp, slightly crisp morning, and we're arriving in the heart of the Ottoman Empire, Kusadasi in Turkey. It's going to be a very interesting day today. I feel like we're stepping back thousands of centuries into the ancient world. Biblical themes abound today. Very busy, almost everybody is getting off. Now, it's a very easy walk into town. Look at that. Just there, there's a hop and a skip. You don't need a taxi to get into town from here. I don't need to draw a map for this port. Often in my ports of call videos, I need to draw you an overhead map so you can imagine how long it will take to get into town. What's there is just there. There you are. No map required. And in there, you can't quite see it, but there are some amazing souks that you can wander around. Take in the atmosphere. Get yourself some spices. Crisp morning, isn't it? Are you ready to step back thousands of years?
I'm ready to step back in time and time travel.
Yes. I'm liking the fact they're telling you where you are in case you woke up after a heavy night and don't know. Ah, okay. Little bit of local flavour, little bit of local music. We are in Turkey. Bit of local colour, isn't it?
That's a traditional welcome.
It is, isn't it? Straight off the ship, straight into a tourist shop. Now you see, these are some of the ancient wonders we're going to see. Well, not exactly that one, but we are going to see ancient wonders. Right, well, you're immediately met with all sorts of hustle and bustle, tours galore. Any number of people trying to catch your eye, you see. Full of buzz and activity, and the famous Turkish ice cream maker. What have we got here? We got some Turkish coffee making equipment. Oh, it's the old Turkish ice cream trick. Now, one thing you are going to notice the moment you arrive in Turkey is that the way of operating is very different from Greece. Street traders are really quite direct. They're quite apparent. They're quite in your face. Some have used the word pushy. They're going to come at you from every direction. Want a taxi? Want a tour? Want a carpet? You're going to have your suit of armour on. A lot of original fakes here in Kusadasi. Fake originals. Here you can pick up, if you haven't got an organised tour, you can pick up your taxis. Rather nice waterfront areas you come off the ship, even if you didn't go anywhere else. Wrapping around the harbour front. Imagine at night this would be rather pretty. So our tour was due to start quite soon, but it gave us time to have a look around the town of Kusadasi itself, to see what's there. There's a small beach area, and see, the ships aren't far away at all, just a short stroll. There's a small historic area with a fort. Certainly enough places to get your fridge magnet and have a drink. Okay, so as you've probably gathered already, the moment you arrive in Turkey, you're going to run the gamut of tradesmen who are there waiting to talk to you, waiting to tempt you, waiting to sell you something. So let's see how far we can get without somebody coming up to us. Only been off the ship a matter of minutes. How many people have come to bug us about something? Buy this, buy a tour. How about you see this? What's your name? What can I get you? Why aren't you talking to me? Put your armour on, your assault gear. You're going to have to sort of fend your way out of the port area.
I think in Greece they don't do that at all.
It's a big difference between Greece and here, isn't it? When you come from Greece, you don't really get that many people.
North Island.
Yes, thank you.
I am a Turkish man. I help you. You go to this castle inside, close, it's not open.
Yes.
Yes, he's good friend.
No,
for
I've
me.
never met you before.
Yes. Look at that. We go to these places too. There
Yes.
is a good statue there. And
Yes.
you say my name is Roman.
You see, I think that's a case in hand, really, is that you can't walk more than 2 paces, really. Yeah. You are going to get a little bit more bugged in Turkey than Greece. That does tend to happen every 2 seconds, doesn't it? Okay, so quite a lot of strident people coming up to us, trying to take a tour with them. Luckily, we had already pre-booked and prepaid a private tour to take us to Ephesus. Okay, so a quick 20-second intro to exactly what Ephesus is and was, as it will help you as we look around. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ephesus was hugely important in Roman times, and there are still well-preserved ruins to this day. And the most important trading centre in the entire Mediterranean region, after Rome itself. As we walk around, I'll show you images of how it is now, and superimpose images back in the day. Just like that, we've entered ancient times. You can really imagine walking down here. What was going on the side? The merchants, the sounds, the smells, the chitter-chatter. I feel like we're walking down the Appian Way. This is the Roman version of the Appian Way. This was the financial centre of the Roman Empire.
Exactly.
This was almost richer than Rome at one stage. It was
Probably, because it was the financial source, that means they were richer than the Rome.
Yeah.
On the right and left side, between every column, there were shops and restaurants. So it's the main socializing area of the city. People were meeting with their friends. They were eating, drinking, shopping.
They were probably all drunk on beer. Was beer the drink of the day? What would they drink? Wine, mostly
They were
wine.
drinking Mostly the wine.
There was no beer in those
The
days.
beer was drinking by the Egyptians.
Ah.
Egyptians created a beer which is made by bread.
What do we think was their sort of diet? I mean, they weren't vegetarians, were they? They were eating a lot of fish, a lot of meat.
No, they
They
were
had
eating
axes,
fish.
they ate meat.
They were eating mussels, oysters,
Really?
many different kinds of seafood. The Roman kitchen, Roman cuisine is very famous. They have really famous food. What's happening? They were eating the food, then they were going to the bathrooms, they were vomiting.
So they would eat and eat and eat
Yes.
until they were so full they vomited.
Yes.
Just so that they could start the whole process all over again.
Bill, you see,
continue to eat again. That's why I told you the dinner was taking about 3-4 hours.
And they were probably, we see the pictures of Romans lying flat, right? Because they were fed their
Yes,
grapes.
they were not standing on the table. They were just lying.
I feel like sometimes in the buffet on the cruise act. This is an artist's impression of how the fountains were, and here's what's left. Imagine how grand this whole street was,
Exactly.
with buildings all around here, left and right, leading down here, and at the bottom you have the library in the distance. The grandeur, the scale of it all back in those days. No wonder it was such a moneyed area. We're imagining we're here, Roman times, watching a performance, and there was the stage down there. Be musical, or maybe a drama, a tragedy, a Greek tragedy. This is the way to the public toilets, is it? All right.
Now we are in the public toilets, the latrines. As you can see, they are very public, face to face. 40 people were sitting here together.
and people were quite slim.
What?
Yeah.
And what
One
chit
of-
chat? To talk politics.
Politics. one of the main socializing area of the city because they don't have mobile phones, they don't have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, nothing. They had the toilets they were talking about here, so they were socializing.
Interesting. What did they use as toilet paper?
A brush, wasn't it? They used a brush, didn't they?
You said instead of toilet papers, what they were using, they have sponge sticks inside of
A bit like loofahs.
They were cleaning themselves with using those sponges.
And sharing the sponges, presumably.
Yes.
It was a shared sponge, was it?
Some rich people of
Bring their own.
they had their own sponge sets.
So they would sit here for as long as they felt like chatting and talking about
Yes.
politics, money, women, the sports, what was going on.
Share cleaning sponges.
40 men were sitting here together.
Which spot would you like?
Not the corner seat.
So the ladies weren't allowed to sit here. They would be shooed away, would they? They're not allowed in
I
here.
think some sources says the ladies with the men together. Some sources said only for men. Is the library of the city. It's called as Library of Celsus. Again, from 2nd century
Wow.
AD.
And there's the $1 million view.
This site, Bill, is worth visiting. You can see the rooms, you can see the levels. You know, it's not a pile of rubble.
And there we go. The famous view down to the library through the Pillars of Hercules.
People were meeting with their friends. They were eating, drinking, shopping. The same thing is happening in our cities also.
So we
have
could
a
imagine some
High
tavernas
street.
or
It's a
pubs.
high
high street. We are meeting with our friends. We do shopping. We are eating, socializing.
You can just imagine the majesty and the height of it when it was in its full flow, the height of the Roman Empire here. Library in there, and you went out to the marketplace out there.
Do you know what? If I have to go on this cruise for 10 days and I have to choose one archaeological site to go to,
This is the best one. This is the best tour to go on.
you can actually imagine what it's like. Of course, you need a good guide
Yes.
to tell you what's like. One of those things where you can't imagine what it's like.
Let's go look at the library. The Library of Celsus was one of the most impressive buildings in the entire Roman Empire. Inside were 12,000 scrolls and literary documents. The entire room was fully coated in marble. I tell you what, when you see Ephesus in person, you'll be absolutely bowled over by the sheer history of it all. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it lets us know we're on the right track and you'd like to see more of this type of material. Before we headed to the next attraction, we had a delightful lunch in a Turkish courtyard. Gorgeous meal of pomegranate salad and various meze-style dishes. After lunch, we went to see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Well, what's left of it, the Temple of Artemis. The problem is, there really isn't much left to see. So we imagined and looked at it in a book. But it's not often you get to see one of the 7 wonders of the world, albeit mostly in pieces. Right, one of the other attractions in the area is to see the home of the Virgin Mary. The scriptures tell us that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was said to have moved to Ephesus in her later years, as did some of the disciples. It is the replica of the house of the Virgin Mary. And this was constructed in the architectural style typical of the era. We're imagining how it would have been a house of the era, how Mary would have lived her final days in Ephesus. And the Pope came in the 1960s. They believe that the remains of the building are underneath, so they've erected this as an homage to what the building would have been. And you can take a sip of holy water from the springs. Holy water. Feel refreshed.
rejuvenated, revived, sprung.
Ready to take on the day. Now, we were lucky our cruise that night was staying in port till 11 p.m, which gave us a chance to head back to the ship for a drink and a spot of relaxation. Well, this is an interesting conundrum. Coming back to the ship, we have a choice. Left ship or right ship? On the left, we have the very Greek celestial journey, and on the right, the Celebrity Infinity. Okay, we have a choice. Which one should we get on? You're going right, are we? Okay, we're going right. Just time for a couple of cocktails and a gin and tonic on the ship before we headed back into town to take a stroll under the setting sun. Well, the ship tonight doesn't leave until 9:30, so we thought what perfect way to spend the evening than walking to the fort and seeing the night bazaar. The security guy said, make sure you're back at 9:30 because we're sailing without you. Well, okay,
It's bad, but it's not. It's worth looking at the city when the sun sets.
Well, our ship doesn't leave until 9:30 tonight, so we thought, why not take a sunset walk along the promenade to see the fort with the sun going down. So that's what we're going to see, the fort at sunset. Oh, hang on. Live catch as we speak. He's tugging on something. It's either the harbour floor or he's got a whopper at the end of his line. Look at that. Isn't that a lovely sunset going down over the sea? This is what we can hear, these junks going on sunset cruises. It's a lovely stroll along the seafront. It takes you about 10 or 15 minutes to get to the fort, and well worth it. Okay, so apart from seeing the magnificent Ephesus and walking around the town of Kusadasi, there are other excursions that you might want to consider in the area, available either from the ship or from third-party providers. First excursion suggestion is boating. There are a variety of operators, and from about $33 per person, you get to motor along the Aegean coast. Typical duration is about 6 to 7 hours, and you get lunch included. Expect about 3 stops, with time to swim, snorkel, and stare at that lovely azure blue sea. Next, our idea is nice and sedate. It's a Turkish bath experience. This one's just a couple of hours, so it's ideal to mix in with shopping or a half-day tour. It's reasonably cheap at $20. They claim they'll successfully rejuvenate your skin with a traditional marble slab scrub. I think I can hear all the men suddenly signing up for this one. Next up, if you want to bash along the coast but on land, there are jeep safaris. For about $30, you get a full-day tour to visit the national park. It's suitable for kids or adults, and they promise you'll enjoy the naturally bumpy terrain. Those with bad backs, watch out. It's an all-day affair, and some tours include hiking and swimming in the rivers, with a forest barbecue included. And if that isn't high octane enough, you can try the next idea, ATVs, with a Kusadasi buggy safari. This one's shorter, 3 hours, and great for young at heart, or crazy drivers, or those who just want to charge along at the rate of knots. Guaranteed sand in your eyes, I would have thought, and you'll get back to the ship covered in dirt and dust. Guaranteed to incur the wrath of the ship. See how you're greeted when you get back on board. By the way, if you enjoy cruising, we don't just put out destination guides, we also have an ever-increasing list of ship reviews. From traditional to modern, glamorous to family orientation. Please do take a look at those in our playlist. In the pipeline over coming months, we'll be going on and reviewing quite a variety of different ships and lines. Our next trip will be small ship luxury. People often ask, is there a reasonably cost-effective way of cruising in style and luxury? And we'll be showcasing exactly that. Coming soon. After that, we'll be aboard the brand new Cunard Queen Anne, the first new Cunard ship in 14 years and already a little bit controversial. Its interior look and style are catching out quite a few people. Some people are liking it, some people are not. So it will be fascinating to be on board, and we'll be giving a full review. Then for something completely different, we'll be aboard Virgin Voyages. It's an adult line and a really unusual one. It will be quite fascinating. So a lot coming to our channel over the next weeks and months. Remember to be subscribed so you know what's coming up. Subscription doesn't cost you anything, it just gives you a good heads up on what's coming soon. Okay, let's head back to the scoreboard where we give our final verdict. How interesting is Kusadasi? Well, we're going to give that a 7, because the town is okay, but the attractions such as Ephesus are further out. The excursions we give a 9, with Ephesus being the real showcase. It's such a stunner. Access to town, you absolutely have to give a 10. It's literally a hop and a skip off the ship. Excursions beyond Ephesus that we showed you just now at the end, that's a 9, because there are lots of trips you can book and they're good value. And overall verdict, we're going to give 8.5. We really enjoyed our stay. Kusadasi is a popular port stop and there's a lot to do, particularly outside the town itself. The town is okay. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ritzy Travel Guide. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us. In the meantime, please look at some videos here, and indeed, some here, and we'll see you in those.